Good morning. Today is Wednesday, February 19th, and this is Devotions from St. Paul Evangelical Lutheran Church, Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I'm going to take a passage today from Luke's Gospel. And in this passage, Jesus is going to dine with a group of Pharisees, and they're going to discuss the way they go about this and what it means to them, inside and outside. So this is from the 11th chapter of Luke's Gospel. While he was speaking, a Pharisee invited Jesus to dine with him, so he went and took his place at the table. The Pharisee was amazed to see that he did not first wash before dinner. Then the Lord said to him, "Now you Pharisees clean the outside of the cup and the outside of the dish, but inside you are full of greed and wickedness. You fools! Do you not know that the one who made the outside made the inside also? So give for alms those things that are within, and everything will be clean for you. But woe to you, Pharisees, for you tithe mint and rue and herbs of all kinds, and neglect justice and the love of God. It is these things you ought to have practiced, without neglecting the others. Woe to you, Pharisees, for you love to have the seat of honor in the synagogues, and to be greeted with respect in the marketplace. Woe to you, for you are like unmarked graves, and people walk over them without realizing it." Do you wash your hands before you eat? It's probably a good practice. The Pharisees thought it was more than a good practice. They thought it was a requirement of their law. And so they were amazed when Jesus did not wash his hands before he ate. And Jesus then told them, "You're very good about doing things that people can see, like washing the outside of the cup and the outside of the dish, but you're not good at doing the things that are inside, like caring for people and not being greedy." Jesus was telling us that things that we can see are important. They're nice, they're good. But he's saying it's not enough. The things that happen within us, within our hearts, within our motivations, that's what really counts. And when we do things just so people will see that we do them, then we do them for the wrong reasons. And that's what he claimed for the Pharisees. They liked to lead long prayers and have special seats in the synagogue. And they'd like to be greeted in the marketplaces so that people knew to respect the Pharisees because of their station, because of their positions. But the Pharisees did not do the things that would make God respect them for the way they lived. How many of us go through the motions of doing things when inside it's not the same? It's not what we want to do. We do it because it's expected of us. We do it because somebody said it was a good idea. And it wasn't what we wanted to do. And we really didn't want to do generous things for other people. That's what the Pharisees were like. They were the great rule makers. And they made rules, mostly that they could keep, but they kept track of who kept the rules and who didn't. And it was all outside stuff, visual stuff, things that were easy to record. In other places, Jesus said, God looks at the heart. He knows what you're thinking. He knows what you're feeling. He knows what your motivation is. And so the rule for us is be true to yourself and be true to God. And everything that you do it because you want to please God not you want to please other people. Did you see the last line, the comment on the Pharisees were like unmarked graves? The Lutheran Study Bible has a footnote that says, in Jesus' day, anyone who touched a grave, whether they knew it was a grave or not, would be unclean. And that means ceremonially unclean. And the Pharisees went to great extent to never be ceremonially unclean. In fact, when you hear Jesus tell the parable of the Good Samaritan, the priest and the scribe who walked by because they would have been ceremonially unclean, and they avoided it. So this idea that they're unmarked graves mean without thinking, without being aware of it, they're unclean all the time, and they make the people that come in contact with them ceremonially unclean. Unclean in their sense isn't something we think of today. Not the way that they did. It's kind of arbitrary and foreign to the way we think. But the idea that we do things for form rather than substance is very real. We're too many times like the Pharisees. And Jesus is speaking to us today about that. To be honest with ourselves, to be honest with God, and to have right motivations. I hope you'll take a look at this 11th chapter of Luke's Gospel. This is one of many stories, but this is one that speaks to me because motivation is such an important thing, and I struggle with it sometimes. But he's telling us, know why you're doing something and do it for the good of other people and for Jesus. Do it not because it's good for you, not because it looks good, but for the right reasons. I hope you'll think about that. Thank you.